आनंदमयी चैतन्यमयी सत्यमयी परमे more than a formal talk. This is more an interchange of love, remembering the mother on the 17th of November, the day she left her physical body, remembering how her participation in the earthly play was. I will just share a few anecdotes from her life as they come to my mind, nothing formal or prepared, just so that you all share in her love, in the divine love that she so willingly poured upon all those who came to her then, and she continues to pour upon all those who turn to her today with the simple call Mother or Ma. In the small book, The Mother, Sri Aurobindo has a passage, a few lines, speaking about Mahasaraswati. A mother to our wants, a friend in our difficulties, a persistent and tranquil counselor and mentor, always pointing to the ever-present help, chasing away with her radiant smile the clouds of depression. Sri Aurobindo described the mother in many words, but these words stick to my heart primarily because while many of us may be intellectual, spiritual seekers, and that too is a part of integral yoga, jnana yoga, the core and essence of being a follower of Sri Aurobindo and Mother is probably to turn to the Mother as a child does, with love, with tenderness, calling upon her as a small baby does. And her response has always been there, pointing to the ever-present sunshine. There were many children in the ashram when the mother opened the school, and there was a young child whose parents had come to visit. And while they were there, the child fell down and hurt himself. And then naturally, his mother was concerned, and as she was moving towards the child ran towards the mother, saying, "Mother, see, I hurt myself." That was the implicit connection among both the children and the adults. There was a young girl in late teens, probably. She had left her home and decided to join the ashram. And she was given permission, so here was this young girl who was leading a life in the ashram. Yet there were naturally certain attachments in her. And one day while she was doing pranam to the mother, she saw her physical mother in the heart of the Divine Mother. And she wrote a prayer to the Divine Mother saying, "From today you are my physical mother also." The best thing perhaps we can give to our own children is the deeper inner contact with the mother and faith in the mother. Because whatever else we give in this life is limited to this life. Whether it is education, whether it is career, whether it is a good match and a marriage, whether it is material, all of those are important. There's no doubt that they are not. They are all very important. However, probably the greatest gift we can give to our children is the gift of contact with the Divine Mother. Why? Because once we bring the soul and put it in contact with the Divine, we are not only fulfilling our responsibility of this life, but we are actually giving that soul a permanent address of the Divine Mother to whom they belong from there on, from life to life to life, till the complete realization. That is the greatest gift we can give to a soul that we have brought into this world. Many people naturally have the impression that when you think of an ashram, there is a certain seriousness, there is a certain earnestness, there is a certain discipline, there is a certain strictness and all of that. Yet, in the beautiful journey of the mother with her children in the ashram, in that Rasalila, one saw so many small anecdotes and experiences that brighten up and bring the divine to the earth. In the playground, in the evening, the mother would come and children would stand in a queue and receive groundnuts from her, peanuts. Now there is a little bit of a problem. When the children were particularly small, their hand also was particularly small. So you could only receive a very tiny bit, and some of the children were not happy, so they would put this hand, they would put this hand. And then, when the mother was here, they would turn around, and mother would open the back pocket and put some peanuts in the back pocket also. How sweet and how beautiful her relationship was with the children. Sri Aurobindo, on the 24th of November 1926, told all the sadhaks that she is your mother, both material and spiritual. There was a sadhika who was not in Pondicherry but outside, if I remember correctly, that was very close to Sri Aurobindo and very fond of Sri Aurobindo. And a few days in and around 24th of November, she had a dream where she was on the terrace with Sri Aurobindo. And Sri Aurobindo held her hand and both of them floated into the sky. And Sri Aurobindo brought her to this French lady whom this sadhika had never known of. And then put her in front of the Divine Mother. So Sri Aurobindo guided those who were in Pondicherry and elsewhere that hereafter she is your refuge. She is the Divine Mother who will look after you, who will take care of all of your requirements. And so many episodes come to my mind how she was looking after every aspect. There was a sadhika who went swimming in the ocean and she got an ear infection. And even though she had gone to the doctor, the ear was swollen. And when she saw the mother naturally inquired. And the mother said, if you wish, you can go to the doctor. And she said, I do not wish to go to the doctor. And that night, the sadhika slept, and next morning she woke up with a perfectly normal ear. Because when that connection was made that I want you to take care of me, she was taken care of. That was how the force of the mother worked with the sadhaks and sadhikas. Similarly, there was a sadhak who somebody had told him, looking at his astrological chart, that that his life would probably be in danger at a particular time, on a particular date. The mother said, "Bring me the chart." So next time this man, the sadhak took the chart, and mother simply put a cross, and she said, "You go now." She basically, in her simple act, symbolically changed the destiny of that person and of that soul. And that is what she does to each and every one of us today, provided we come and say, "Mother, now I am asking you to take charge of my life. I don't know the past, I don't know the future, I only know you. And you take charge of my life." And that's it. In our path, there are no initiations, there are no dikshas, there are no tying of the symbolic thread, hardly anything. You just have to say, "You take charge of my life." And she will remember that, whether you remember it or not 20 years from now. Once in the ashram, a few sadhaks were together and all of that. This was when probably somewhere around 1950, 54, 53, something around that is what I remember. And mother said, there is going to be supramental descent, something of this thing. And one of the sadhaks said, "Mother, you know these things, I don't know any of these things. When it happens, you tell me. Because I may not be able to know that it has happened." And the matter ended there. Then this person was traveling in a train one night, and he was fast asleep. He got up and he felt he saw mother there. He closed his eyes and he opened again, because that is what all of us would do. Maybe I'm imagining things. Closed his eyes, opened again, mother was there. This happened multiple times, and when he returned from the trip, he told he used to be going frequently to Bombay. "Mother, that day in the train I saw you." She said, "Yes, I had promised to tell you when the supramental descent happens. I came to inform you." So whether we remember it or not, she remembers. Once we say, "You are in charge of my life, I surrender to you." Sri Aurobindo says in the small book, The Mother, 3 things one must have: consciousness, plasticity, and surrender. Even though the mother does work in you, in your unconscious moments, it is not the same as when you are consciously in connection with her. This is what Sri Aurobindo broadly says. It is not that she is not working in us when we are lost. She is working in us once we come here. However, it is not the same as when we are conscious. When we are conscious, when we are in touch with her, when we remember her, when we call her. How to call? Somebody wrote to Sri Aurobindo, "I cannot think of her when I am busy with my work." Natural, when our focus is on work. He said, "You don't have to remember her all the time while you are doing the work. Remember her in the beginning and in the end. That is sufficient to make a start." So we remember her in the beginning, we remember her in the end. We remember in the beginning, "Mother, I'm starting a new day. Mother, I'm starting new work. Mother, I'm starting this." One of my friends who lives in Auroville, he used to keep a little notebook in his office. Every day he would come to his desk and he would first take that notebook and he would write something of a prayer to the mother. Put it back. That was his way of connecting to the mother. We all can develop our own way of connecting to the mother at the beginning. So in this day is yours. Take care of everything that happens. You do the work through me. Just offer it to her. And at the end of the day, we say, Mother, I've finished my studies, Mother, I've finished my work, Mother, I've finished my preparation, whatever we are doing. Now you take charge of it. This is how we make a very simple beginning. And once we have that consciousness, our effort is in the direction of remembering her more and more and more frequently. One doctor used to attend our satsangs here many years ago. He kept a reminder in his watch. Those days we used to use watches more. With mobile, nobody uses watches. So every 2 hours he would put a small reminder and he would think of the mother, and that reminder came. Again he would go on. What happens when we remember the mother? What happens? See, what really goes on, there is the physical existence, and there are subtle forces that are working in and around us throughout. For those of us who are just lost in the rubble of the world, these forces can be of any plane. It can be of earthly plane, it can be of occult plane, it can be of hostile plane, it can be of many planes. In the absence of many forces, it is our karmic forces that are at work. In the absence of other forces, it is our genetic forces that are at work. We say, apne mama ki tarah dikhta hai. Sirf dikhta nahi hai. That forces are flowing through him even now. The karmic forces that are trying to work out, the occult forces that are trying to work out. In every atmosphere, there are small occult forces that are trying to have their fun. Sometimes they cause accidents, they have fun, they like the pen. Sometimes they cause arguments between people, they enjoy that. They like that kind of energy. These forces are everywhere in the world. So when we sit down and connect ourselves to the mother at the beginning of our work, we are invoking the divine force to come down, and all these small forces will disappear. Their effect will reduce. It is like a candlelight in front of sunlight. So the minute we connect to the mother, we are invoking a force that is higher than our destiny, higher than our karma, higher than these small forces, drishti force. They say, the nazar lagti hai. Lagti hai, sabko pata hai, we've had experiences. ये सब dissolve हो जाएंगे. All that will dissolve in the sunlight of the spiritual force of the mother. And then if we keep a practice of slowly connecting, then every moment in the day, higher force is working, and she is watching over us. She has said once, if you can remember me between the slip and the fall, I will protect you. Now just look at the simplicity of that sentence and look at the profoundness of that sentence. I will protect you between the slip and the fall if you can remember me. Now, how much time is there between the slip and the fall? Hardly half a second. To remember her in that half a second, how do we practice it? We have to make thinking of the mother our second nature. Something slips from the hand. We should be able to say mother. And I know people who have made a practice of it. धीरे धीरे ऐसा practice होता है. Then when we remember or we don't remember, something in us will be connected. Like there was a dentist in America who was doing some work and on the patient, and he had given him anesthesia. So the patient was a white American, the doctor was a white American. After the patient is brought back, he says, what is Om Namah Shivaya? Because in his anesthesia, the patient was saying Om Namah Shivaya. Now for that to happen, imagine how much sadhana must go in. That is how we should prepare in spiritual life. Our contact with the mother should become so close. Ma. करते जाओ, that is bhakti yoga. धीरे second nature बन जाएगी, फिर primary nature बन जाएगी. That is wherever we turn, whatever we do, whoever comes to us, we see the mother in them also. After all, when we say the divine is in everything and everyone, how can we not see the mother there? And it is through that love for her, Some time ago, we had a talk by one elderly devotee here. She was here a little while ago, Kiranji. इतना सुंदर talk दिया उन्होंने. She was telling how she was connecting to the mother in every way. And I remember how profound and beautiful her talk was. And there is another devotee here. Now, of course, she's a senior citizen, but when her son was a small child, one day she came home from work, and in her own house there was a small crowd. What happened? The son was having fits. She literally took the child up, and because there was no time, doctor ko bulaya nahi, she just put him in front of the mother's photograph and prayed. Literally, that is all there is. I know times when people sit here, when the patient is in ICU, they say, what do I do there sitting in the chair? I'd rather sit here. Somewhere the contact, we have to make that consciousness part and plasticity. Dhire dhire work on our nature. We will surrender first at the mental level. But it won't come down into the vital yet. थोड़ी चीज़ें मैं माँ के हिसाब से करूँगा, थोड़ी चीज़ें मैं मेरे हिसाब से करूँगा. I will do something the way mother approves. I will do something that's okay, I want to do. Then slowly those things have to be taken out. And those have to be offered to the mother. That is plasticity. Mere andar, whatever is inside of me that I know is not in contact with the highest, I have to dig it out and offer it to the divine. It is painful. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo says, uproot desire with its bleeding roots. With its bleeding roots. Because that is also me. I have yet to open it to the divine. Of mother. You clean this part. You clean this part. I can't clean it. I am human. I don't have the energy. I am a small fellow. You do it. Plasticity, karte. It takes time. Simple thing about plasticity at the physical level. Simple exercise, how rigid we are. Try sleeping in a different posture. We all go to sleep. हम सबको पता है when we go to sleep, एक posture में सोते हैं ना. Now change the posture. See how long it takes for the body to get adjusted. You can't sleep the first night. You can't sleep. That is nothing but rigidity at the physical level. उसमें plasticity लाना है हमको. When we pray to the mother, we have to ask her to descend into us, come into us. What does that mean? What does it mean? We say, mother, come. How will she come? First, a little bit of silence in the mind. Silence the mind and say, mother, come into me. The vibrations of peace, the light, the silence, all of this is how mother's force begins to work. If our mind is always thinking continuously, it is difficult for the mother to work. There was a sadhak called Kailash Javeri in the ashram. She passed away a few years ago. I had the fortune of knowing her and meeting her several times, and of course, when we met her, she wouldn't speak of anything spiritual. Acha kela kha lo, acha mishri kha lo, nahi to ye bol. She would keep on engaging us. And when she went to the mother looked at her and said, oh, you have a silent mind. It is much easier for me to work through you. So Kailashji, as she was doing her sadhana, she had established silence inside of her. Just as thoughts are natural to us, silence was natural to her. To receive the divine light, grace and guidance, this silence is necessary for us. We should learn to practice a little bit of meditation in the morning, a little bit of meditation in the evening, or go into nature and be silent. Go into a forest, go into a water body, whatever, just wherever you can be silent. It is in that silence that the Divine Mother's guidance and grace can come to us. A very, very funny and simple example. Yesterday I was sitting with one lady who has come from another town. She is in Hyderabad. I met her and her husband. And she said, my husband introduced me to the mother when I got married. And I didn't know anything about anything, meditation. So he said, okay, you meditate. So I started meditating. In the very first week only, I started meditating, and one day I kept on getting the suggestion, go to the overhead water tank. Go to the overhead water tank. And she said, why is water tank coming into my meditation? I tried to meditate again. Again I got a suggestion, go to the overhead water tank. I said, okay, let me see what is going on. I went to the overhead water tank. There is a dead frog lying in the overhead water tank. See, Mother guides us not only in the highest spiritual things, in the most practical problems also. She comes down and puts what is required in our head, provided we open to her. Consciousness, plasticity, surrender. Surrender, it is the beginning and the end of integral yoga, Sri Aurobindo says. How do we surrender? Keep calling her. Keep calling her. Mother, I have done my day's work, I offer this to you. Mother, I have this problem, I offer it to you. There was a very sweet episode from Dehradun Center. The lady there is somebody well known to me and my wife. So one day we were sitting there and talking, and she told me what happened in Dehradun Center. One of her friends had come from Delhi, and they had met after a long time, so they were sharing a lot of things. This friend was particularly worried about a legal case concerning some properties, which was to be fairly hers, but as usual, some problems. So this lady listened to her, and finally said, see, you have told me this seems to be a big problem for you. You go to that samadhi, Dehradun has a samadhi, you sit and whatever you have told me, you tell the mother. And this lady is like, who mother, what mother? Tu kar jaake bas. So this lady went, she sat, she told all the problem to her. And after a few months, she calls her back, mother has taken away the problem, it is all solved, everything is sorted. So this is surrender at a very, very outer level. Whatever problem, just as we offer a flower to the photograph here, offer your problem. But there is a small catch. One lady told me, she said, I am unable to offer this problem. I said, what do you mean? You have a problem, why can't you offer it? No, I am not able to offer it. What do you mean I am not able to offer it? Even after I offer it to the mother, I am continuously thinking about it. Where have I offered the problem? It was an insight for me, because when you offer a problem, you should be relieved of it. कि देखो भैया मैंने मेरा बोझ उतार दिया. I have got rid of my load. I have offered it to the mother. Now let her take care of it. Our heart should feel light, and that is real surrender. Because then you are leaving that load at the feet of your guru, at the feet of your mother. She will look after it. This happens, that happens. It is her problem now. It is not my problem. This is how we grow in surrender. We have to take things out and keep offering. Keep offering. And don't expect it to work out according to our mental motion. We play two-dimensional chess, mother plays four-dimensional chess. We can't understand. Do not, what does Sri Aurobindo say? He says basically if you approach with the mind, the mind will not recognize the mother even if she is manifest before you. Do not use the mind. To follow her movements is impossible even for the quickest and the most vast intelligence. Don't restrict her to your solution set. Don't restrict her to your solution approach. She will work out something. If she doesn't work out also, you say, okay, I am suffering, but now you take care. This is how we approach the mother. There are many ways in which she works. And when she was in the ashram, it was more direct, but also it is as strong and palpable everywhere around the world even now. Naranida wrote an article after the mother left her physical body, because naturally all the sadhaks were grieving. They had a very sad thing, mother has left us, and some people are going through a trauma internally. He wrote an article saying, Where has she gone? Where has she gone? In fact, several senior sadhaks said that after she left the body, the mother's work has become more intense, more strong, because she is no longer limited by her physical body. Her strength, her force, her presence, everything is now spread all over the world. Whether they call her by the name of the mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram or not, her action is not restricted. The force and capacities of spiritual beings are not restricted to a particular form. There is another episode from another path that comes to my mind, but I also want to illustrate it to this particular point. Once Swami Vivekananda was in Chicago at the Parliament, we all know that. There was a mother and son who was coming to hear him. And on the way, the boy fell into a river. And as he was drowning, he saw a man, Vivekananda, he had not yet seen Vivekananda. He saw a man with a turban reaching out and pulling him out of the river. And then he came to the talk and he saw it was Swami Vivekananda who pulled him out of the river. And then after the talk, he went to say thanks and he said, please accept me as your disciple. Swami Vivekananda said, no, I am not your guru is yet to come. And when he said, then how will I know who is my guru? He said, your guru will give you a silver cup. Now this happened, this teenager grew into a grown-up man and this and that, and eventually he found Paramahamsa Yogananda. And he became a disciple of Paramahamsa Yogananda. He joined the ashram of Paramahamsa Yogananda. Then Paramahamsa Yogananda came to India back from the US for a trip when his guru was about to leave his body. And he came, he spent 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months here, traveled all around. He met Mahatma Gandhi, he met Ramana Maharshi, he met many people and went back. And when he returned, during that Christmas, Paramahamsa Yoganandaji gave gifts to many people and this person received a silver cup. So, the force of the Guru, the grace of the Guru is not restricted to its form that we think of. As long as we are open to the divine, as long as we are sincere, the force of the Mother is there, not only in this life, till our soul arrives at full liberation and consciousness and transformation. The grace of the Mother is with us every step of the way. We just have to make our little effort. We take one step, she takes 1,000 steps. So that is just what came to my mind. I just wanted to share it with you today. It is a beautiful occasion to remember, to reconnect, to reignite our aspiration, to tell her that I belong to you. You take charge of my life. Let us gather ourselves, concentrate for a few minutes. Let us pray to the Mother in our hearts. Let us invoke her and offer ourselves in all our layers to her. Let us chant Om 3 times together. Take a deep breath. Sarvam Sri Aurobindo Society Hyderabad.